kids and coaches, it's the professor. We're going to do a quick react and breakdown in the format of the good, the bad, and the ugly, covering Indiana basketball, in-state baseball, and Cubs baseball, and World Baseball Classic. So let's get into it. The good. The Cubs pitching staff has looked a little bit better. Talion continues, well, we'll get into that. Minus Talion, the Cubs pitching, the starter, starting to look good. The Cubs that have the traditional baseball roster of starters are doing a decent job of hitting. Your standouts are Carson Kelly, Dansby Swanson. Suzuki is doing well. Also good in the World Baseball Classic. So let's move into that real quick. The Cubs that are at the World Baseball Classic are looking pretty decent, to include Pete Crow Armstrong. Pete Crow Armstrong had been struggling when it came to the first 4 games that he had played. I believe he had a 100 batting average. He'd been picked off from stealing, and he had 2 errors in the field. However, that's not the case. He's right now the starting center fielder for Team USA. He's had multiple RBIs, great defensive glove, no errors, and some great throws from the outfield. So that remains in your good. Also in the good, Indiana beats Minnesota, which was essentially, as I had stated, a must-win. They looked very good at home, winning by 30. It was probably about the spread that they should have beaten Minnesota at the barn, which they did not. It does move Indiana to 18-12 on the season, so we'll see what ends up happening. Indiana's going to be we play Ohio State this weekend. Give Ohio State, buy Ohio State, money line spread. We're going to lose that game. So we're going to end the season with 18 wins and in 10th place in the Big Ten Conference. Not great. It's going to become our seeding to take on whoever is the number 7th seed for the Big Ten tournament. So we'll see what that happens. Again, Indiana, terrible presence in the Big Ten tournament, so don't expect them to win anything in the tournament, and most likely the end of season. Definitely don't see them going on to the NIT. So we've covered the good, the bad. Well, Indiana baseball continues to struggle. The errors continue to go. This week's midweek games were both canceled due to weather in Indiana, so they did not get their midweek tune-up game. It was against one of the Minnesota University satellite schools that would have been traveling to Indiana to play, so they didn't get that. They move into conference play this weekend, so we'll see, and they take on Washington University. So we'll see what happens. Washington baseball, not exactly known for huge baseball presence out on the West Coast, and they have the disadvantage of having to travel to the Midwest. The weather is not really expected to be great, so we'll see what ends up happening. The bad for the Cubs, Ian Happ. Ian Happ is not hitting. He started late. He didn't start the first week of spring training games, which is expected-ish for a starter. But what we're seeing right now is Jefferson Rojas, a double-A player and probably a triple-A starter for this season, definitely outplaying and out-hitting. Now, granted, Jefferson Rojas is a shortstop, but when we look at the overall roster and we look at who showed up so far, Ian Happ still can't hit. Like I said, he had been partnered with PCA, but PCA is starting to find some contact hits in World Baseball Classic, which, again, some of those teams, they have played San Francisco, but we played Italy. We lost to Italy. The Cubs did lose to Italy, not Team USA. But we'll see what ends up happening with that. The upcoming this weekend should be interesting things to watch. Indiana State baseball takes on Western Kentucky University at Bowling Green. I expect the Indiana State to come out with a series win there now. But remember, Western Kentucky had taken on Indiana at a neutral site, and Indiana only split with them. 4-game series, and it was 2-2. So Indiana State is the better baseball team, I think, this season. They'll be taking on Western Kentucky University, 3-game series this weekend. Again, weather might be a thing because of the weather in the Midwest, so we'll see. The baseball matchup of the weekend, though, as far as in-state, are your Evansville Aces playing a ranked Ole Miss. So taking on an SEC baseball team very early in the season. This would be very similar to what I had stated last week with the tune-up series that Penn State had hoped against Indiana State. A Big Ten team taking on, so a Power I team, Power 5 team taking on Missouri Valley Conference. And the Missouri Valley Conference, Indiana State ended up showing them up and taking the belt back to Terre Haute. This could very well be one of those matchups. Ole Miss comes in ranked this season at number 7 to start the season off, and you're getting a cupcake team of the Evansville Aces, who already have a ranked win under the belt. Granted, they dropped the series, but they did come out with a win. And when they've played their non-conference matchups to warm. They're at 500 on the season. So that, I think, was going to end up being an interesting. I think that Evansville can take 2 out of 3 from Ole Miss, but we'll have to see. Definitely the odds are against it, but I think Evansville is playing up this season, which is really awesome to see and really fun to watch as far as it comes to the local in-state baseball. The ugly, and we'll close it out with this. End of the road, end of the season, put them out of their misery. Indiana State basketball Sycamores are done. One and done in the Missouri Valley Conference, and unfortunately it came to in-state, and I don't even want to say rival, but in-state matchup, Valparaiso. Valparaiso takes all 3 matchups this season against Indiana State. A very, very bad in-conference Indiana State at 3-16, 3-17, counting the tournament loss. Just not a good season for the Sycamores. Definitely one to forget. Graves probably needs to be packing his bags and thinking about leaving Terre Haute. I hate saying that with only 2 years, but the program has gone nowhere but down under his watch, and since 2023, when the team 2023-2024 when the team went to the NIT. So that's going to be it. I think one more addition to your good: Indiana softball. Skip out on watching Indiana play Washington University this weekend. If you get a chance to watch the ladies play softball, that is a fun team to watch. So that's the good, the bad, and the ugly here with the professor for this weekend with the breakdown. Enjoy the sports this weekend. Again, your matchups are Indiana Hoosiers versus Washington, Indiana State versus Western Kentucky, Evansville versus doggone Ole Miss, and the Cubs will continue, and World Baseball Classic kicks off this weekend. So have fun. As always, go Hoosiers.